What's good, y'all? It's your guy Makai. Welcome back to my channel. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and every subscriber helps. Over here on this channel, we talk about the NBA daily. So if you enjoy the NBA as much as I do, please subscribe. And tonight, we got Game 1 of the NBA Finals. We got the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Phoenix Suns. And I think that this is one of the best outcomes that this season could have gave us, because everybody was expecting, Lakers Nets. I'm, part of everybody. I thought it was going to be Lakers Nets. When the Lakers got eliminated, I thought it was going to be Clippers Nets. And then, I thought somehow, some way the Clippers could beat the Suns. But once Kawhi was out, I thought it was over. I didn't think that the Bucks would beat the Nets until Kyrie and Harden went down. So, this season has been kind of, I don't want to say ruined by injuries. This season has been heavily affected by injuries. But at the end of the day, we still have two great teams in the finals. We're still going to get, a lot of great games of basketball. And I don't think that anybody should complain about that. I don't care that Milwaukee's a small market. I don't care that Phoenix is a small market. Phoenix isn't even a small market. It's just, they've just been trashed for so long that they're not seen as highly as they should be. Milwaukee is obviously a small market, but I don't care about, ratings and all that. I'm just a NBA viewer, so why would I care about ratings? But yeah, man, I can't really firmly choose somebody in this series because, one, Giannis is injured, and two, I don't know what the Bucks head coach Mike Budenholzer is ever going to do, because it seems like he sometimes wants to coach like a great league coach, and other times he's just really stubborn and sticks to his scheme even though it's not working. And we've seen him just constantly do something even though it's been proven it doesn't work. Like, for example, against the Nets, he was just using drop coverage against KD, using drop coverage against Kyrie, and it was clear that they were getting burned by that. But he just kept on pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, and then, it took them to the brink of a Game 7. They won, but if Kyrie does not go down, I think they lose that series. But that's besides the point. I can't firmly pick somebody because I just don't know. I do think that Giannis and the Bucks are a better basketball team, but the way Chris Paul and Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton and the Suns play, they are very capable of winning this series, and I think they should be favored because Giannis hyperextended his knee in the last series, so he's gonna be questionable tonight, and we don't even know if he's gonna play tonight. We don't know how healthy he's gonna be if he plays, but if he plays, we do not know how healthy he's going to be, and we don't know how effective he's going to be on the court. So I think this is going to put a lot of pressure on Chris Middleton to show up. And historically in the playoffs, when Chris Middleton has to create a lot for himself, when Chris Middleton has to be relied on to carry the offense, it has not gone the best. Obviously against the Hawks it went pretty well because he had in the mid-30s in a couple of games. He was shooting the ball really well. But this series is going to rely on a lot of good coaching from Mike Budenholzer, because the way the Suns play, right? They're a heavy pick and roll offense. They have a lot of movement, so it's going to take a very, very locked-in team. Mike Budenholzer is going to have to tell his guys, stay locked in, make sure you don't, get beat on any cuts. Mikal Bridges like to move a lot. Cam Johnson likes to move a lot. They always have, Devin Booker coming off staggered screens. They always have Chris Paul involved in a high pick and roll. There's going to be a lot of movement, so the Bucks have to stay locked in and have to stay, ready to handle all of that, because with the Bucks defense, they do have a lot of great defenders. They have Jrue Holiday, they have Chris Middleton, Giannis, they have Brook Lopez, they have PJ Tucker. They have a great defensive unit, but the way that Chris Paul's mind works is that he's willing and he's willing and able to find the weakest link on the team's defense, and not that that person will be a bad individual defender. He's willing to create advantages for his team that he can constantly do over and over. So the matchups, I think it should probably be Jrue Holiday on Chris Paul. I'm torn between who I want to guard Devin Booker, because PJ Tucker has taken a lot of tough assignments. He guarded KD. At times, they threw him on Trae Young. And, I just feel like it could possibly work out if you put him on Booker. But at the same time, Chris Middleton could also go on Booker. And, I'm really torn between that. And also, I do think that Jrue Holiday is the best option to defend Devin Booker, but I don't know who would guard CP3 in his place, because I don't want Chris Middleton on him, and I probably don't want PJ Tucker on Chris Paul full time. So I think those matches are going to be very, very key. I think that if you put PJ Tucker on Devin Booker, it's going to be a very, very physical kind of matchup like it was with KD with PJ Tucker. And I think that, in between, Devin Booker loves to shoot mid-ranges. He loves to, snake the pick and roll. He loves to rise up for mid-ranges. I think that PJ Tucker is a physical enough defender. He's quick enough, smart enough to, get under those mid-range shots to really, really bother Devin Booker. And I feel like he could possibly take him out of his game. And with Drew Holiday, I think he's a smart enough defender to stick with Chris Paul, and he's quick enough. I think he's able to stick with Chris Paul. His screen navigation has not been the best. We saw Trae Young fry him on a lot of pick and roll coverages in the last series, so I think there's going to be some adjustments there. But what I think is really simple. What the Bucks should do. They need to play drop coverage at first, because obviously you want to just test some things out, test the waters. So obviously try drop coverage first, and bring Brook Lopez higher than to having him stand in the paint like you did in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Do not let Chris Paul get a bunch of pull-up mid-ranges, and definitely don't let Devin Booker get a bunch of pull-up mid-ranges. Start off with drop coverage. If Chris Paul starts to get hot, if he even makes, I want to say, like, if he starts to shoot like 3 or 6, maybe start to change the coverage. If Devin Booker starts to percolate, make sure you change that coverage. Then you start to switch everything, and then we're gonna see where we go from there. Because once you start switching everything, then it gets more complicated for your defense, because then they're gonna start moving their guys from the wings, Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges, and DeAndre Ayton is gonna be a big factor. I think Brook Lopez should stay on him, because anybody else besides Giannis is probably gonna be barbecue chicken for him. And I think that you don't want to put Giannis off a hyperextended knee on, the very mobile DeAndre Ayton in Game 1 of the Finals. And with the Suns matchups, obviously it's probably going to be Chris Paul on Drew Holiday, and then you probably throw a wall at Giannis, because the Phoenix Suns have a great defense. They have a great interior defense. They can throw Jay Crowder, they can throw DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges can help out. They have a great wall for Giannis, and I think that's going to be the difference in this series. Can the Bucks perimeter creators kind of pick up the slack for the wall against Giannis? And I think that Giannis is going to have a lot of opportunities in transition, because DeAndre Ayton has consistently showed that he's not going to get back in transition on every single play. I think that can create a lot of cross matches and create a lot of advantages for the Bucks in transition where they thrive. But in the half court, I think Drew Holiday is going to have to be a lot more clean with his turnovers, because it was a lot of, in the past playoff games he's played this season, it was a lot of turnovers that have hurt the Bucks a lot. And I feel like against a team like the Suns, who, are going to burn you whenever you make a mistake, you cannot afford to be having, 5-6 turnovers in a game. And really, the bottom line is the Milwaukee Bucks have to shoot well from 3. If they don't shoot well from 3, they have no chance in this series. They cannot shoot 30%. They cannot get away with what they got away with the Hawks. They have to shoot well from 3. And Brook Lopez, I like his game, but maybe don't have him, play 5 out so much. Because some of the sets that, Mike Budenholzer ran against the Hawks, some of the more complex sets, it was like double screens into lobs. Like, it's like Mike Budenholzer, he runs these complex sets when Giannis is not there. When Giannis is there, it's just give the ball to Giannis and make him run in a straight line to the rim. And I feel like if you just get everybody more involved, if you have Giannis as the roll man with Chris Middleton as the ball handler, if you have a Giannis slip screen and Chris Middleton is about to shoot the mid-range pull-up, I feel like that's going to put a lot of pressure on the Suns defense to kind of commit to one or the other. And I feel like you can create a lot of advantages over that. But, I feel like this matchup is also going to be a game of depth, because the Milwaukee Bucks, let's be honest, they don't have a lot of depth. I think they might run 6 deep. Bobby Portis coming off the bench. You don't want Jeff Teague in the finals game. You don't want a lot of Pat Connaughton minutes in the finals game. So the Bucks probably run like 7 deep. And the Suns, they have Campaign off the bench. They have Cam Johnson off the bench. They have Torrey Craig. They have a lot of good production off the bench. Dario Saric. They have a lot of good dudes off the bench. So I think it's gonna have to be a lot of heavy minutes for the Bucks starters. Obviously, I don't think the Bucks are gonna win tonight, because with Giannis being questionable and with how Bud usually takes the first game or two to kind of feel out, what kind of scheme he should run, I think the Suns are probably gonna win tonight. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Bucks did. But my final prediction for this series, I think, is gonna go 7. I got Bucks in 7, because I just think that the way Giannis, offensive game is, if Mike Budenholzer lets him play off ball and lets him be able to get the easiest shots possible, I think it's gonna be a very tough job for the Phoenix Suns to stop him. And I think that the Bucks defense is good enough to contain Devin Booker, to contain Chris Paul. If Chris Paul does that whole, I want to pass everything, I don't want to shoot a lot, I think it's gonna be a lot easier. But on the other hand, the Phoenix Suns have shot very well from 3 this season, and they have a great defense to stop Giannis, so I think it's very possible they can win in 7. But my final prediction for this series is definitely Bucks in 7. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and if you see at the end of the video, thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.